It's actually, I made sure that there's no watch here. But I made sure that I changed my knob here at the top to orange because it's now fall season. So we switched it up from red.
Just in time for pumpkin spice latte.
Exactly, pumpkin spice latte.
PSI.
PSI, never heard that one. We're back for over the weekend and we have another great event. It's more of a spectacle actually because we have one of the greatest people that was actually closer to me than you ever thought, but I never knew. Even proximity wise as well as the actual things we like to do together. And I want to bring this lady on to the show today. We have Ms. Jeannie Priscilla, born and raised in Montreal, but that's not where it ends. This lady is actually immersed in both fashion and illustration actually, back in her old adolescent years, early 2010s years. The work actually that she had was very dazzling. It had a splash of everything. It had a splash of anime. It's got a little bit of lovely women in it. One thing I can also say is, when it comes to all the work that she does, it does not have a medium, as in, it goes through all of them. Graphics, graphite, painting, you can even go as far as a tattoo artist. But we want to make sure that all those elegant curves of the female silhouette that we actually see in all of her designs get brought today to the show. Her art brings forth a big indigenous Mayan heritage when it comes to all the work that she does. That's kind of the thing, the overarching theme that we have when it comes to it too. More like a woven cloth even. And I would like to celebrate the beauty and the nature and the animals and the universe with her by talking about her murals, talking about her paintings, talking about her life in general. And I guess I'm going to stop talking now and allow everything else to go now. Miss Jeannie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I also have to start to say that it's actually pronounced Jenny.
Jenny?
Yeah, and the reason that is because I was born in Montreal, as you mentioned.
Oh, français.
Français. My parents decided to give me the name Jeannie, but now that I moved to Ontario, everyone thinks it's Jeannie. So it's actually good to clarify this on the podcast.
Yeah,
so now people will know.
Yeah, people know.
I get that all the time. I've been getting it since grade 2, since I moved to Ontario. And yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome. In that case, Jenny, tell me about your life.
My life, where do you want me to start?
Well, actually, when it comes to it, I had a little bit. I always like hearing people's hero's journey. So you can start off in 2014, I guess. Work your way kind of up.
Yeah.
You don't have to be go into detail, but if you do go into detail, people love it.
Cool. I mean, 2014 was the year that I got into the art scene per se. Like you mentioned before, I've been doing art my whole life, pretty much like from the young age of 3. My biggest inspiration growing up as a kid was anime, like Sailor Moon. I was absolutely obsessed with Sailor Moon. So as a child, I really dove into the drawing aspect of art, and as an adult, going into second year of university, I started to make more of a community of local street artists in Toronto, including Soul, which is your episode these days, and Timmy Drift, who's also a Toronto legend. So in 2014, I started hanging out with them a little bit more. We started doing gallery shows in Toronto. We would go post up at subway stations and just fly things for fun. Back when, permits weren't as intense of a thing and you could do this kind of stuff. And then through that, I really realized that I wanted to just become or tap into more of that artist scene. And ever since then, I've just been really hustling with art, doing paintings, doing murals, eventually into tattooing, and really just expanding my skill set and hope to just keep expanding.
See, that's amazing. I really would like to know, in a lot of the art in general, people always say you must drop everything in order for you to become what you want to become. Like a lot of music DJs and artists like that, they literally go think one day, I'm just gonna stop playing music, stop playing video games, stop watching TV, stop smoking weed, things like that, and they just focus on their craft, and they usually make it.
Yeah.
Is that story relative to you as well? Is there things that you dropped in order to get to where you are today, or was it just immediate?
I mean, maybe not necessarily dropping anything, but more so from 2014 to now, in the last 10 years, I've been just hustling as an artist, but it's only been 3 years of me working independently as my own creative. And I think that leading up to that point, it was more so about balance than anything, as opposed to like letting go. And by that I mean like I would always work like the odd job here and there, and then like in the evenings I would spend my time drawing and painting, or like really just like hustling to make that my like full-time thing. So yeah, and I think like balance is also important too, like just getting inspired by like seeing your homies, like going out to events and stuff like that. So I think that I really just like, yeah, I really think I let anything go.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like, they don't like change in general, so it makes it hard for those things to happen in the first place. So in order for you to say that nothing has changed and I just decided to work, sounds like basically like a dream.
Yeah, I mean, like, and not to say that nothing's changed, because we are always evolving and stuff, but I think that I just kind of have been molding along the way of like making it work in a way that I'm still staying true to myself.
So what is true to yourself? What is, if you can define who you are, not through, because there's other people that take the information that they found about you and they make a paragraph on a website or something like that. Yeah. But none of those people are you.
Yeah.
So what would you have to say?
I think that like I am someone that very much is inspired by community, and community to me is so important. And by that, like again, like soul family, like the people that inspire me, like hanging out with other artists, being in that scene has like brought so much of who I am as a person, to who I am now. Like just like going out and getting inspired, and through that like making new connections, expanding your network, and like having opportunities come from that.
One thing I always want to ask people is, what is a misconception that people think about you?
Oof. I don't know. I mean, first up, my name is Jeannie.
Actually, that's cool.
I don't know. I think like people might think that I'm like really successful, or that I'm like killing it per se, but like I still have my days where I'm like not doing the best per se, or like I don't know. I think I have to think about it.
That's fine.
Without getting like too deep into like the mental health like aspect of it.
And to be honest, that's the most human like response to say ever. Is to be like, bro, I'm not a human, bro. Like, you think I'm great, but I am great. Like, you are great.
Yeah.
However, I'm not Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I feel like a lot of my pieces are very like beautiful, and they depict like femininity and light and all these beautiful things. But like behind all that beauty is the other aspect of that, which is the darkness. Like, you can't have all the light and the beautiful things without the duality.
Yeah, the duality and darkness.
All that like painful, scary shit that like we try to not talk about, to make people comfortable. But I think that like behind all that beautiful stuff is really just like, deeper darkness.
It's kind of strange that you do say that, because this is another thing that a lot of people do say. They say it in the comedy world, they say it in the art world. They always say the words, if a person has burden, or they've been through I wouldn't say damage, but they've done things that changes them and makes them different. Maybe there's people around them that make them feel less happy. Whether it be when they're young or old, and that crafts them into being even better in the future.
Yeah.
It could be just simply because a person decided, okay, I'm gonna not ever shut up. I'm gonna decide that today's the day to actually work on my craft because I want to get out of there. And once again, I'm asking, is that another reflective thing in the art world? Do you think that the turmoil and the strife, from your younger years, bringing it to this year, bringing it to now, is that the energy that put into work?
I think so. I think that a lot of us artists bring that energy into our work, because for us it's like an escape, or not necessarily an escape, but more so an expression of like our traumas or our emotions or us processing things. So I will say that a lot of the artist friends I have, they can be considered a little bit fucked up. Like, I consider myself damaged in a way, and I think that it's like any trauma, like really it's like we find ways to cope with them, and I think that's the beautiful thing about art, being an artist. It's a healthy outlet to be able to cope with these things, be able to be inspired by these things, and like push forward something that connects us with each other as humans.
Yeah, because if not, it could be a lot of people that just hold that in all the time.
Yeah.
And then that's when people decide to blow up.
Yeah, exactly.
The time you finally leave the goddamn toilet seat up, you look and you're like, I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah.
God damn it. Exactly.
Yeah. It just takes like one thing to like set you off, and you're like, no.
So I have other lovely things I'd like to chat with you about. But let's start with a little bit of music.
Okay.
And make it go somewhere where people love.
Yeah.
Remember earlier I said that we were so close yet so far.
Yes.
Turns out we were at the exact same music festival that actually keeps on being repeated in this podcast.
We were. And has it?
And yeah, that's when I'm like. So obviously you probably potentially seen it, potentially you haven't, but I'm there every year basically. I've been there for the last 5 years. And we actually do have at the festival this year we had, I believe it was 2 weddings. And on top of 2 weddings, we hosted a party on a Wednesday. So at this point in time now, I feel that our whole group has like a theme, and we're gonna move that on to next year.
Yeah, marriage. Marriage.
We're thinking of doing a chapel.
Ah,
yeah, doing an actual wedding chapel,
Yeah.
allow people to come by and like get married and so on.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm a supervisor at one of the restaurants at the port. I'm so sorry, pasta joint. And as much as I love the job, I mean, if I can put people in the holy matrimony instead.
Oh my god!
I'd
In
be
a
like-
festival setting.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
But I want to know what your setup is, and then what did you do at the festival? Like what did you do for work, and then what did you do not working, as in people you've seen?
Sorry, so just to clarify, we mean Shambhala, right?
Correct. Yeah,
And
that's not really. We start with that one. Yeah.
Right, and by setup, you mean like my painting setup?
Yeah.
So for Shambhala, this was my 4th year going as crew, and usually when I go crew at Shambhala, it's pre-show, which is nice because you're there beforehand, you get to watch the festival come to life, and in that sense, my setup is pretty chill, like, because it's not much of a live performance act per se, whereas like painting during festival is more of that. This was more like, it's preconceived, premeditated. No one's really there watching, so I can really just like, be a total bum and just like have my headphones in and just like get messy. So yeah, my setup is just like, I don't know, light a couple cans, get headphones, get music.
Yeah, and then once
Usually
it's
some
done, it's done.
incense burning, get some good vibes. Yeah.
And that's 100% the festival for that.
Yeah.
I truly feel that whole genre, that whole space in general is like a magical portal
Oh my God.
for 7 days.
I like to call it like a Rick and Morty episode. You just like step into this festival and you're like,
Yeah, you're just like, what's going on?
it's like there's so many totems, everything's lit up. Like,
You're just
where
like,
am I?
God damn it, I'm in! God damn it, I'm in!
I don't want to leave.
Exactly, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that I think we actually made a joke this year. We were like, hey guys, I think we're just gonna, we drove maybe 30 minutes leaving the festival, and then we said, hey, let's just park over here and just wait till next year. we have all
Just living the life.
we have all the cabin here. Like,
Eat some herbs.
is signing up for the crew and everything just as easy as going online? Because I have one of my friends actually, Lucy Cook.art as well. She also did. She also was one of the patrons for the festival, but she painted beforehand and coming by. And she had all her stuff at the gallery.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So a little bit different.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm like, is it just as easy as going online? And
Well, funny story, like, if you guys are interested, because it's a funny story, I hitchhiked to Vancouver from Ontario in 2017.
that's nuts.
And on the way to Revelstoke, we were stuck there for like 50 hours. I was there with my partner at the time. And after waiting overnight, camping overnight in like their country, not knowing if we're gonna be okay, this lady comes and picks us up and gives us a ride to the next town. And it turns out that she was the art director of Shambhala.
Wow, that's fun.
So
That makes total sense why you do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to tell that story because it's like Shambhala was something that I always dreamed of going. Like I was just like manifesting it, just like, I'm gonna go next year. Then I went on this crazy random hitchhiking trip and I meet the director of Shambhala on the road. It's like, what? So through her and through that connection, she was like, hey, you should apply for Shambhala. Like, you have my contact. I'm the foreign director. So I feel like because I made that connection with her in person, I was more likely to get in. But per se, like, it's not really that hard of an application. You just apply online. And really, if she takes a look at your work and she deems that you're, wanting to contribute something. Maybe not deeming worthy, but like if she sees that you are passionate and have something to contribute, then
I agree.
Yeah.
That's just that easy too. I feel when it comes to a lot of the positions, obviously you need to have some type of in or want.
Yeah.
But once you do, you do.
Yeah.
And it's just like a lot of it's not like a lot of festivals actually, where once you're into the crew, you kind of don't want to leave.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially like Shambhala crew, it's like once you're in and you just keep meeting more and more people, and every year you're working through and you meet more and more people.
Yeah.
It just feels like one giant reunion every time you go back.
Yeah, literally.
It's like, why would you not want to go back?
I thought that for Electric Islands as well. I was like, Electric Islands here in Toronto.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, every time I come by and hang out with you, like go to Electric Islands, it's basically just a reunion. Hanging out with people that you know.
Yeah, you're just with all your homies.
But Shambhala is that times 100.
Yeah.
Because,
It's times a lot of times like steroids. It's crazy. It's like so many people and homies, yeah.
How was your crew? Like the people that you hang out with when you're at the festival?
Well, for me, I'm a bit of a lone wolf. So I'm like, my friends will kind of joke around that I'm kind of just like a ninja and just, flow and like do my own thing. But because of that, like I've met so many people. So my crew is really just like scattered people in every stage, essentially. Like I would go to like, the amp or the village and there's always homies there. So my crew is just like all over.
Does this same vibe reflect when you go to Harvest Festival? Because I know that just happened.
Yeah, I mean, this year for sure. I was there on my own and I was there as crew, so I went up a day early. And again, same thing. It's like I was there alone, but I still have so many friends in that scene and in that crew that I'm not really alone.
Yeah. So the people you just hang out with, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. People that I can go like see when I take a break from painting, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go do my thing. See ya.
I always have the want to go to that festival, but it is a not so secret. Like it's hard to get in because you need to have a steps basically. There's steps.
For Harvest?
Yeah,
it's not much. Like I mean, it's maybe back in the day, but now it's become more of like an open festival. You just get a ticket and maybe getting a ride up if anything. But
yeah, it's like a few hours north or something like that.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, so it's about 2.5 from here.
Oh yeah, see, so yeah, it's definitely easy.
Yeah,
blink to
check
2
it out.
hours. Yeah, next year, I think next year we're gonna be a Final Flex. Like, I have the mentality of I don't want to do the same festivals. Even Shambhala in like maybe 3 or 4 years, I'll finally be like, I think I can skip a year to do another one.
Yeah, you know what? I want to do the same thing next year. Like I think I did 4 festivals this season, which was amazing. Loved every moment of it, but it was definitely exhausting. And I think that next year I want to be just like prioritize something different, like traveling instead of doing festivals because, why not? Life's too short to just do the same thing over and over and over. Even though the homies are there and
exactly,
it's like,
people are there. You guys can also be in Spain or Germany or wherever you're gonna go next, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If they're real, anyways.
Yeah.
I would love to do. Well, I have done it once when I was in South America in January to do one festival there, and I completely was like, I think this is what I want to do now. I just want to go to a different country or a different place and
why
do a
not?
festival there.
Absolutely.
I had a lot of trouble though, because when I was at that festival, holy fuck, everybody speaks Spanish, and I did not speak Spanish.
Oh, you gotta go to more French-speaking festivals.
Yeah, exactly. I need to go to fucking Igloo Fest, or else I just be like,
yeah, shout out Montreal.
I would love to do all these things, but once again, I definitely choose my battles when it comes to it. Like, I think next year is probably gonna be only 2. Maybe I'll do Muralist. I know a boy that works there, and he's like, I'll get you in.
Yeah.
RV, let's do it together. Go out together, let's do it as a group, like 20 people. And I'm still
RV glamping is the way to go.
I don't know, I wanna live the life you wanna live.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to live bougie also. I'm trying to be like,
yeah, you know what you like, yeah.
I'm curious about other things as well. When it comes to this, you do art in other ways, shapes, and forms. I want to hear a little bit more about the murals in this city of Toronto.
In the city of Toronto? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I haven't really done that many in Toronto. I've done one in Kensington, which I did 4 years ago. And shout out to Kempton and the people of Toronto for not tagging over it. I'm surprised that no one's like blasting graffiti all over it, because that's usually like a very common thing to happen in the market.
It's like 3 or 4 people
yeah,
go over.
But there's like small little tags that people did on the side, so I'm like, yay! So there's that one. There's another one I did like near Chinatown, which was more of like a cover up. Someone had like a tag blasted over it, and they wanted to be painted over it. And then another one would be Blondie's Pizza. A few people might recognize that building because there's a few Toronto artists on there, like Kismet, Flips, Timmy Drift, Julia. There's other ones that I can't remember at the moment, but that was a really fun one because there was I think 6 or 7 of us on the wall. And then
So like there's 6 or 7 separate designs on the same wall.
Pretty much, yeah. We all kind of just like had our own section and then like painted our each section. It was just a fun graffiti style jam.
Y'all would hang out together, right?
We'd hang out, play music. Still was making barbecue. He brought the hat. He's like there, like picking up ribs. You know, like we're listening to like 90s hip hop. It's just like, it's life's
literally the Lord's work, like everybody's like doing their part. I love it. So then, is there ever a time where there must be a time where you'd want to do that again, like collab with another artist? Even if whether it be actually physically making an art piece together or just doing it side by side.
Oh, totally. I think that collaboration is amazing. It's a cool way to bring like multiple styles or 2 styles as one. And anytime I've collaborated with other artists, I usually always learn something and take home an experience and inspiration that I can just keep using for other pieces. It's the best. It's really the best. Even like you said, even if it's just like you're painting here and your friend painting here, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's nice.
Great. Yeah, it's like your inner children are just playing and vibing and like,
I remember that there's a word for it where there's a literal like term when people are working together but on the same project. Mm-hmm. But one day I'll remember that word.
Yeah.
And when I do, I'll shoot it back.
Cool. I'm gonna message from you like 3 in the morning. It's this word.
Exactly.
I remember.
I remember what I was talking about. Phone call. Right. But instead of that, I do have another question when it comes to it.
Cool.
Art is a long process. I also have done it. I still do it. Exactly. It's big. You're never going to finish, basically.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone back to a project to be like, okay, I'm not done yet?
I've wanted to go back to so many walls and projects to like keep working on it, but it's like you just have to come to a point where you're like, this is done. Like there's no more, this is it. You just gotta like have to like cut yourself off. Because otherwise you can work on a piece forever. Like it's literally infinite. So yeah, there's definitely been many, many moments like that, but you just have to just like let it go, get to a point where you're like, this is good enough, and then you just like
right.
Yeah, like you hit a certain level of a standard, and then it's like, all right, this will work.
What about burnout? What was your solution for that?
Very real. I mean, I used to be really bad, and like I would just completely head dive into my work and just get lost in it. But as I've gotten older, I've realized through physical, creative, emotional, and spiritual burnout, like from overworking myself, that it really is important to prioritize the rest of all. And it's something that I have struggled with in the past, being really hard on myself, or just kind of distracting myself through my work from not dealing with like real life shit, you know?
Just being like, you know what, I'm just going to go to bed today. I'm not going to do the job today.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like the burnout is real, and I think that it's important to kind of just have that balance in your life and remember, like, you know, I can't just completely lose myself to this one project or multiple projects. You also have to find other ways to live your life and enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah.
Aside from work. Because even though it's creative, it still works sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's more mentally taxing than somebody that's building construction. Like just breaking a wall down. That's more physical. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Because you're pouring your soul into it. You're pouring every ounce of yourself and your being into your work. At least for me, that's how I feel. And I feel like sometimes, you know, you have your moments where you finish a painting or you finish a wall or a tattoo, whatever, and then you post it and you get like no engagement and you're like, wow, I did all that for
for people to say hello.
Yeah, for people to be like, that's neat.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but it's like at the same time remembering like it's not about that. It's about creativity, it's about expressing yourself, and it's about like just doing your thing.
Yeah, you're doing something that you love, which means you're doing something that you want to do, which also means you're not wasting time at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think all types of, you can always tell by the great greats, Leonardo, things like that, that a lot of the pieces of art, whether it be music, whether it be actual art in general, whether it be anything, comedy, whatever, all that stuff is evergreen. It actually all lasts forever. Like, somebody will go back to your design, your art piece in 20 years, 30 years, and be like, bro, who the fuck did that?
Who that?
Yeah, who that? Like, tell me the secrets, man. Yeah, that's such a beautiful piece. And that's when a new age comes in, basically. People start talking about it again.
Yeah.
Start seeing what happened with it again.
Yeah.
And basically the cycle will just continue. And at that point, that's when you can tell people, hey, bro, I can't go back in the kitchen. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I can't go back to this track I made 20 years ago. And
Exactly. Just do it. No.
Yeah.
You say you also love music.
I love music.
Tell me, because and obviously you go to these festivals because you want to enjoy it. Do you have tell me the genre that you prefer, I would say, firstly. And
okay, sorry.
Oh, and then the genre that you prefer, firstly, and then after that, the actual earworm song, like an earworm track that's always.
What do you mean by earworm track?
A song that never gets out of your head.
Ooh, there's so many of those. Well, I would say, yeah, I love music. I love pretty much all music except for country. Sorry.
Sorry.
Or psytrance in the electronic music scene world. It's not really a thing. But yeah, like I love hip hop. I love jazz. I love electronic music. I love rock and indie and basically all the things. And then when it comes to electronic, like I love UKG. I love grime and dubstep. I love drum and bass very much, and like tech house, basically anything that's like bouncy and kind of just like like bounce around the bins. And yeah, like funny enough, I used to play the saxophone. I really want to tap back into that, because it's such a beautiful instrument, and I know that there's a side of me that loves music, and I would love to learn how to mix and DJ.
Yeah.
I was at festival season, and people were asking me like, "Are you a DJ?" And I'm like, no, not yet. I would like to be, but yeah, that's like a whole other thing. But
do you happen to have an idea of a genre that you would go into?
Probably like bass music.
Yeah, bass house.
Bass house. Yeah.
That requires a lot.
Maybe not bass house, but more like like 140 dubstep.
Oh,
and like grind.
Pulling out those UK vibes.
The Holy Trinity, yeah, like the UK vibes go hard. I'm literally like this most of the time.
I'm hoping to see Skin on Skin in November, because he will come in November, and that's gonna be the first like warehouse of the fall time, basically.
Oh, cool.
And also, fucking Skin on Skin is just crazy, KG. Like,
sick.
Crazy.
I haven't heard of that name, but
I'll wake you up.
Maybe come through. I'm gonna come through.
Exactly, buddy.
Hey, you say less. Say less up there.
Alright. So when it comes to it, then you say you like other genres, you like doing other genres. When it comes to the saxophone, you said you finished playing the saxophone. Was that like because of school?
Well, the saxophone thing, it was more like I came from a church. Like my dad is a pastor, so I was brought up in a very religious upbringing. So the saxophone for me was this relationship I built through the church, for the church. And when I left the church and stopped going, I kind of lost that relationship with the saxophone because it was deeply tied to that.
Yeah.
And me and the relationship with the church and this religion is strained. I'll just keep it at that, unless you want to dive into that more. But yeah, but like nowadays when I hear like Tribe Called Quest or like any hip hop sample that I'm like,
yeah, I want to come back.
This is saxophone. I'm like, I want to go back to that. I want to reclaim that instrument.
I wonder how long it'll take to just jump back into it.
I don't know. I mean, like I still remember like the notes. I know how to like use the instrument, so I think it's just a matter of like practicing and maybe relearning music theory, reading the notes. Because everything I did was by ear. I would like write down like this is the note for this and that, and then I would just like wing it, like just based on like the rhythm and the harmony, not necessarily like reading the music sheets, which I would like to.
Yeah. That's kind of cool in that aspect as well, that you just simply did it organically.
Yeah.
Like all the things that you played. It was played organically, essentially.
Yeah, and I think that because of that, it's like, okay, I know that I have a good ear for music and rhythm and piano and all that, and I think that I can apply that into other aspects of music too. So definitely my radar.
Have you ever thought about somehow mixing them both together?
Oh yeah.
Music art.
Definitely. I'm DJing and there's like a mural in the back that I painted and like I don't know.
Not anything.
And then they have our models come on that I like body painted.
Yeah.
They're like dancing in front of me. Or like tattoos, I don't know.
I actually had, this was a New Year's, I think it was 2020 New Year's, 2020, 2021, where we had an actual body paint artist come to our Airbnb party that I hosted. And this girl was going crazy. Like, body paint was happening and everything to the point where all of a sudden people were like, is the paint going on the floor? Is the paint going everywhere else? And she was like,
Is this water based?
yeah, exactly. This is water based. This girl's like literally rolling onto the wood now.
Oh, man, it's just getting crazy.
Yeah, that was a pretty good time. But those are the good old days when, you know, you had to be stuck inside all the time.
Yeah.
Now, it's the only thing we are stuck from is music.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
I do remember also that there's a lot of things that you did in your younger years, and go back to that portion basically. But I just want to know a tiny bit more about the old life. The old life before, well, as you're learning music and as you're learning art at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But where was these places? Like, where was the spot that, or who was the spot that brought you in first time that you said, you know what, this fucking drawing is cool. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna continue.
I mean, like, it goes back as early as, like, being in elementary school. Like, I remember in grade 3, we would just, like, randomly get, like, well, not just randomly, but in all grades, you have, like, your art class. And it's, like, when I think about, like, my favorite things to do in school, and, like, my favorite classes in elementary school, leading up to university, it was always art, always drawing, always painting. Like, that was the thing that I just loved doing the most. And then in 2014, when I met those homies and we started doing shows and going to subway stations and painting and doing all that, I was exposed to meeting other artists that were just like fully in it and like full time, just like doing the thing. And then I think that's when I realized, like, okay, like I feel like I'm good enough, and I will continue to expand myself as an artist to the point where I want to do this and like make this my lifestyle and make this my life. And yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I feel like I've always known, like, from a young age, like, I wanted to either be a fashion designer or a computer graphic animator. Like, those were, like, my two things I wanted to be as, like, a little kid. And then I went to high school, and then I took, like, a sewing fashion course. And then I applied to Ryerson, which is now Toronto Metropolitan.
Yeah, Toronto Metropolitan, blah, blah, blah.
Which, by the way, like,
hey.
really...
Yeah, here you go. Here we go, the PC world.
We're going to touch that. Yeah.
Right.
But, yeah, so I went to Ryerson for fashion design for 4 years and, like, you know, did the program, graduated, and then realized, like, oh, I don't even want to be fashion. I want to be in, like, something where I'm drawing all the time. And then I was like, oh, I can just tattoo and draw people, you know, for life.
Yeah, something forever.
And honor that part of me that I've always loved, which is just the drawing part, the art part.
It's almost like you're not working at all, basically, which is another one.
Well,
there's days
where you're like, yeah, there's days where I'm like, oh, I wish I just worked at Tim Hortons or like worked at a bank or something, you know. But those happen with like any, like, you know,
I do look sometimes when I go to like Tim Hortons or anywhere in general like that, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I never had this like pathway, you know? Because I stocked shelves in my very first job.
Yeah.
So from there, kind of retail was that path basically.
Yeah.
But just imagine if, you know, you flip burgers instead.
My first job was Wendy's.
Oh, so see, my favorite fucking fast food.
Literally not flipping burgers, but I was dressing burgers. So. And I was like, maybe this is not the life path for me.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I don't want to be here forever.
Maybe I don't want to be dressing burgers for my life.
As much as I like my girl Wendy, like...
Yeah. Wendy, sorry.
Not
you're not cutting her girl.
Exactly. You're not paying the bills right now.
Yeah.
All you have is a face. There's actually a Wendy's in Toronto. That's a black Wendy's.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember where it is, but I've only seen it once. And my whole friend group in the car were like, dude, black Wendy's? What's going on right now? They even said, they're like, dude, your Red Dead Redemption 2 character is here. Because I made my character in Red Dead Redemption 2, Wendy. I was just running around as a girl, and she cool.
That's great. Oh my god, you have to send me the angle for that when you find out. That's a good picture.
And I'm like, buddy, this is the most Scarborough Wendy's ever.
It's
Scarborough Wendy's
It's my ward.
Like, I'm boarded, like, right beside the fucking station.
Yeah,
Imagine.
right beside the worst thing.
I was just gonna say that. Yo, this Wendy's has patties, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Do you say, well, you like more chill days, and more chill days can always come. I know a long time ago you used to do 2 different positions. My question is, which one did you like the most? Which one was the most, like, if you had to go back?
Yeah.
There's Andrew's Tiles.
Oh my god, shout out Andrew's Tiles.
And then there's the face painting job. I was like,
Oh my God.
these are the jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I've worked way better jobs than those, but between those two, see, the thing is, I hate to say this, but like the face painting job, I was like 20 years old. I was partying a lot, and this job was on the weekend, so like I would go face paint children hungover, and these kids are like so excited, they're screaming, and they're like ah, and they're like, you know, not holding still. Yeah, and you know they're not holding still, and their parents are there, and like it was a fun job. I love kids, like don't get me wrong, but it was definitely very intense, and it didn't help that I was hungover. So I'm gonna have to say Andrew's Ties, just because it was downtown. It was like at the beginning of my era of living downtown. Everything was exciting.
Yeah.
I was working somewhere where like across the hallway, like I had friends that like the wireless waves. So, like it was a fun job, and I worked alone too, which is great.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you know, maybe I don't think my ex-boss is gonna watch this, but like I would be there like low key like working on my homework and essays while like no one was at the shop. So I was like, well, I might as well get paid to work on my homework.
That sounds like, once again, fucking what everybody.
Sorry, Andrew's Ties.
Sorry, Andrew. My name's Garrett. My name's Garrett now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know you had so much other things. You had, I believe when I looked, there was a textile designs as well. Like you were making clothes for a company, I believe.
I was sewing aprons.
That's correct. That's the one. Yeah.
I was sewing like the Rolls Royce of aprons. Search and Rescue Denim in Vancouver. I lived in BC for 3 years. And yeah, that was I think my second job when I lived there. And yeah, we were just like sew aprons with like industrial sewing machine. It was a fun job. It was good.
Was that the location? Was that house that you're in Vancouver at the time? Was that the time where you were living with Hamza as well, or?
Yeah. It was Hamza.
Yeah, right.
Shout out Hamza. Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it was around that time.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Well, I would love to always live in Vancouver, but I've actually know so many people there, but I don't go enough to like say I'm in, basically.
Fair.
What is the difference? I know it's such a simple, easy question, but for people that don't live in North America at least, what is the difference between Toronto and Vancouver?
So I'm gonna have to say like Toronto is like the New York of Canada in terms of like there's always something going on. The culture and the nightlife scene here is bumping, like it's just great, and the food, everything. Vancouver is beautiful too. It's got its own thing to offer, like the mountains and the ocean. But because of that, I feel like, you know, people that live there or have been there call Vancouver no fun city. Because like after like 11 p.m., like everything's dead. Like you'll go out to a party or something and you're like, wow, like really this is it. Like, at least that's how I felt coming from Vancouver to there. Like I felt like as an artist seeking more of that like city culture vibe, it definitely lacked more of that. Whereas Toronto has more of that to offer.
What I've heard is it's a lot of the art movement is in Victoria.
True.
Like crazy amount. Like people are just handing out grants and so on at that point.
Oh, cool.
But you have to live in Victoria.
Well, I'm gonna say
Exactly.
that.
It's like, as much as I love Victoria, Victoria's fucking like the California of Canada.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Victoria also is an island. It's also full of old people. So it's like
and it's harder to find work there. It's also harder to find a space to live. I feel like even now, like even Victoria and like smaller towns in BC are getting so expensive, and it's like, you know, the housing crisis all across Canada.
Yeah,
It's pretty much like hard to find anywhere to live for a decent price. So yeah.
All we need to do is just fucking do a bond with RV forever. Or go back to what we were talking about before.
Or just live in Shambhala.
Exactly. Live in Shambhala, play
Just
the
live in
bridge,
the
not too
farm
far.
and just become...
Hang out with the bear that comes around every year. Literally, I shit you know, that's probably the same.
Which, by the way, that bear, like, I was hanging out with my friend Andreas Tinderman, shout out, who was working on his piece because he was painting at night. And that black bear literally was like running right at me. And I did not see it. And my friend was like, Jenny! And I'm like, what? This bear like running towards me. But then it like, you know, it kind of swerved because the other was like, oh, security.
Yeah, I realized that fucked, right?
Like, get the bear!
Get that fucking bear! Get that fucking black bear! Bear, black bear, black bear! Get that black bear, black bear!
Yeah, it's like, that's the last thing you expect when you're smoking a joint, watching your friend paint, and you're like, what?
Exactly. Another thing I know that you like to do is play a little bit of sports. You have two sports that I believe you like to play, but I want to see which one is the goated one.
Cool.
Soccer or football? Or football or football?
You mean, I don't play football. I used to play soccer, and I love volleyball.
Oh, so things changed it up, eh?
Yeah, changed up. Yeah. I used to play soccer when I was younger, and same with volleyball. I mean, I was in the high school team, I was a kid. But now my main sport is running. I really love running.
So is it because of the runner's high, or is it?
A little bit, yeah. I find that for me, running is so key for my mental health. If I don't run for a while, it really starts to just like fuck with me. For me, it's like, you know, there's obviously the physical benefit of running and staying fit, but also just the mental aspect of like going for a run and just having the time to be alone and really like process my emotions and like what I've been going through, and also like challenging yourself to set new goals and overcoming them is so empowering.
It's like a cold plunge kind of, but
yeah, exactly. Which I'd like to get into too, but like I'm kind of
like in the cold.
You know, I'm working up to that.
To get there.
Yeah.
So take a shower and have it out cold for a little bit, and just
exactly.
Well, I also am curious saying that probably could end up really soon actually, but I always seen in many of the photos and the videos that you've had, it took me almost forever to figure out that you actually are not the tallest person in the group. I think you just have camera anglings, like the camera angles you use in all your photos.
I have the Tom Cruise effect.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, yeah, I'm 5'10". I'm not. I'm so small. I'm like 5'3", 5'2".
It took me until LinkedIn. I seen the LinkedIn
Really?
profile.
Oh my god.
I was like, dude, for one, this looks like she's in like the raddest band right now. Two, everybody's tall. I was like, wait a minute, you're not tall?
So
You're not tall.
That LinkedIn photo looks like I'm like the boss of like, I don't know, like this like...
Yeah, kingpin group. Like,
yeah.
Don't worry, we all part of the mafia.
Yeah, exactly. Funny enough, that photo was like my final year at university. It was like every fourth year of every fashion design course at Ryerson, there's one massive fashion show, so you have to work to build a collection. So I chose to make a men's collection.
Oh, okay.
And then I just sourced for my homies, and I was like, yo, is that a model for this shit or what? And they all brought their steez, and like, I just look like a badass in that photo. But then you see how small I am.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna ask you, I'm like, how did you figure that out?
Yeah, see, I had to do the research.
Research.
I was just curious because, as I said, that was when the gears were turning. The gears were turning at that point. I kind of understood that it was a fashion like photo op.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was still like, it could also be a mom boss. It could also just be, this is the photo before they went to rob the bank.
Yeah, it's like, is she Queen of the South?
Exactly. Is Queen of the South? Queen of Texas right now? Like, no 10-gallon hat.
Yeah, exactly.
But it feels like you do know how to enjoy and have fun and actually like just do life without having to tell people, hey, this is how I should do it, basically, like people tell you how you should do it.
Yeah.
Do you have like maybe a word that you can tell somebody else to kind of get into that motion?
I mean, for me personally, like the reason I am like that is because, as I mentioned before, I come from a very religious, uptight upbringing. So I think that through that experience as a child, it really pushed me as an adult to just be like, you know what, like I'm not going to conform to these rules or these cookie cutter standards that like maybe not always religion has for us, but just society, and just choosing to just walk to the beat of my own rhythm and just enjoy life. Life is too short. Life is too short to just be stuck in one place your whole life, or just not allow yourself to have new experiences or meet new people. Like, just go out there and do it. And do that, you're gonna open so many doors, and more opportunities will come to you.
I think that's a perfect way to clap on. Or actually, no, the poet clap.
Yes.
The poet clap.
Where's my beret? I think it's over there. I gotta find my beret.
Beret. Hi. Well, Jeannie, I'm so happy that we've done this now.
Thank you.
We're gonna do this at least 17 more times between now and 10
This was the first
years.
cut.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first cut, guys. As always, I want to hope that we see you again. And on top of it too, it will be during the music festivals this time.
Ooh,
because I'm
yes.
bringing this shit on the move for sure next year.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure that we all have like a time where we're sitting down, just hanging out. My plan, I probably shouldn't say this early, but I want to literally get 2 chairs, bring us any festival, just do this. Like, have a sign and be like, let's talk.
Could.
Yeah, if people can.
Could bring 2 chairs, a couple lounge pillows, set up some vibes, and
let's chat.
People would be more than happy to chat. Come find me next year. I'll be around. Yeah, come find me on the wall.
Exactly, I'll be on the wall. In that case, you all have to follow every single social media handle that Jeannie has. It'll be all in the description, I promise you. I'll put it somewhere that you can all see it too. But at the end of the day, you all have to know that when it comes to a great day, great person, great work, it just has that little bit of you catch my drift. But in that case, thank you very much, Jeannie.
Yeah, thank you.
Jenny.
Yes, true.
And I will see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
See.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Drop a like, drop a comment. Tell me what you think about this episode. You know what, you have to do it. Your mother told you. I told you. Look at your dog. Your dog told you to.